I've just hit over 1,000 points thus far in the FPL season, just outside the top 5K. I am considering a few new options though in the forward, midfield, defense, and goalie positions that you should too, so we can keep this run going and target them before the new year. Let's take a look at them now. Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Femi, aka FPL Big Fem, and in this video what we're going to do is look at the best picks to consider in the next 3 fixtures before the new year in forward, midfield, defense, and goalie. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start up front and talk about forward. So I already made a video on him recently in Jared Bowen, and I think he's such a strong pick. He's 7.5 million. The next 2 of 3 before the new year at home, and he's just, a lock for playing 90, and if he scores, he's probably gonna get bonus. So take a look at that video if you want a pick that a lot of us can get to because of the price point. But the other forward I really want to talk about here now is Hugo Ekitike. So Ekitike, he's playing within that Liverpool side. He's absolutely wrestled the reins from Isak, who was a $100 million purchase, as we all know, that Liverpool made, and he's the guy getting the goals. So I don't see any reason why Slot would drop him right now. He's a little bit pricier at 8.5 million, but he has 7 goals. He's third in league scoring, and he's quietly having such a strong season in Merseyside. He looks really confident and he shoots a lot. So that's really, really helping him in terms of these metrics. And I do think that Liverpool, we need to consider them now. The 2 home fixtures they have before the new year are at Wolves and then Leeds. And these are, some of the worst teams in the league. So Liverpool is going to be one of the top scoring teams. And I just think that having a piece of their offense makes sense. They have so many injuries right now. They have Salah gone. They have Gakpo gone. Salah's gone to AFCON, of course. Gakpo's not in the squad. He's hurt. So he's going to get minutes. So even if Isak does play, he's a strong option. So if there's a way, if you can get to him in your team and you want to take a strong punt on a forward who's in form, I would definitely consider Ekitike. When thinking about the midfield, let's stop talking about Phil Foden for a second. I did the transfer. I finally got him in. His price rise has been ridiculous, and he was probably going to be 9 million before I got him in. So let me just get him in at 8.7 mil. But the midfield I wanted to talk about is Morgan Rogers. So I have a different view on Morgan Rogers. I know a lot of people are saying the data doesn't look good, but I am a little bit leaning towards a more of an eye test manager. And what I see in him is a player that I also spoke about how he is transitioning more to a goal threat. So last season it was more about the assists, and now he's scoring goals. One of the most valuable things for a mid in FPL is a midfielder who scores goals. That's why I really like Rogers, and I like him more than like a Minte, who's a little bit cheaper, because Minte, although he's been producing and leads the league in assists, it's an assist. A goal is always worth more in FPL. And when you get into those goals, you get into the bonus. And I want players that can hit bonus points. So ultimately, Morgan Rogers, he's playing in a side that just keeps winning. They keep cruising. They keep scoring goals. And so they look really, really strong. And so when I think about Aston Villa, they're third in the table right now. And I think about their next 2 fixtures. They have Manchester United at home and then Chelsea away. I think there's going to be goals in those fixtures. And I think he's going to be a part of that. So I would recommend when you look at players to target someone on a short-term punt if you don't have Morgan Rogers, because he could be like a Phil Foden and keep scoring goals, and you really would want to get him in now instead of waiting for later. So the next player is a defender, and I think generally with defenders, we overvalue the clean sheet points because they're just so unpredictable. For example, Arsenal had a 67% chance of getting a clean sheet against Wolves, and we all know how that ended up horribly for all of us. So when I think about this player, he's also in the Arsenal team, but he didn't play last week, and that is Roberto Calafiori. So I like him for a lot of reasons. Number one, instead of Timber, he's about almost 1.0 million cheaper than Timber, and he also gets attacking returns. He's top 10, just outside the top 10 in defender scoring. He's played 1 game less. He's always around the box in terms of shots and assists and defensive contributions. And Arsenal is still the best by a mile defense in the league. So you're thinking about getting a defender who is at a price point under 6 million, who plays in the best defense in the league, and a team that has 2 of the next 3 fixtures at home and 2 good fixtures coming up, in my opinion, with a road fixture at Everton, which is suffering from injuries, and they have two players in Ndai and Idrissa Gueye, away at AFCON. And then they have some home fixture after that against Brighton, which is a leaky team and a team you can score on, and Aston Villa, which, is a strong team at home, but on the road, they're a different animal. And so ultimately, I really like Calafiori to, get us returns, and he's someone you can get to because he is, like I mentioned, under 6.0 million. So that's really achievable in terms of how to fit him into your squad. So I would look at him as a player to take a look at defensively before the new year. Finally, let's look at goalies. So who needs a new goalie? I definitely do need one. When I look at my team, it's not really optimized in the sense that I have two 5.0 goalkeepers in Henderson and Leno. Leno has been a little bit disappointing, and Fulham hasn't been able to keep clean sheets. So I'd love to downgrade. And this player I had in mind many weeks ago, but I didn't pull the trigger when he was 4.5 million. Now he's 4.7, and it's the goalkeeper at Sunderland, Robin Roefs. So Roefs is a strong option in my mind. He's 1.3 million less than a lot of goalkeepers that many of us have in David Raya. And I just think that, you shouldn't spend that much on a goalkeeper. You can use the funds elsewhere in your team to build a stronger team, to have a stronger bench, to really help you get points, especially when players miss out. The other reasons are he's first in goalkeeper points, and he's second in saves. So he's done really, really well this season, and I really do expect that to continue. Although Sunderland has 6 players, which is a league high, going to AFCON, I think that he can get those save points to mitigate a little bit of that. And I don't want to necessarily count out Sunderland. They've been such a strong team. They definitely have a good framework and way of playing already instilled, especially at home. So as we look into the new year, I think he'd be a great player to change your goalkeeper up into and save some funds to use in other spots, maybe to get to a midfielder that you want, or maybe even a forward like one of the ones I'd mentioned that you may need that extra 1.0 million plus to get to. Now, I'm recording this before the Manchester United Bournemouth game, so let me just go through my team, what it's done so far. I have Semenyo left to play, and I'm on 82 points. I triple captain Saka. So I went against some of my own advice in terms of waiting for Haaland in game week 17 against West Ham at home, and I just decided I wanted a midfielder. I typically love to use a triple captain chip on a midfielder, and although, Haaland, I thought could do well, I didn't think as long as he didn't score a hat trick, I'd be that much behind. It ended up being like 2 points, the difference, right? Saka ended up on 11, Haaland ended up on 13. It's nothing to be too worried about in the grand scheme of things. And I'm just happy that Saka returned, which is the result that you want. We all know that Haaland blanked when he had the triple captain chip on him against Leeds at home. So I got my 11 points times 3, 33. I'm very happy with that. So let's look at the rest of the team and see how they did, and we'll just talk about the highlights. So Rodgers, the 15-pointer, someone I think is just scoring goals for fun. And they were two very nice goals he scored. So ultimately, someone that I want you guys to consider in your squads if you can get to him. He's only 7 million, so he's definitely not cheap for the output he's been producing. Ballard. I targeted Ballard for this home fixture, the Derby, against Newcastle, because he does well at home, and he was proven to provide that for me with the 8 points and getting DEFCON. So very happy with the Ballard pick. And then DCL and Ruben Diaz with 9 and 8 points respectively on my bench. The bench is always an issue in FPL, and I thought that Crystal Palace was going to score a goal. They had a strong XG numbers against Man City, so on another day they would probably score. And so that's why I didn't have Diaz in. And then ultimately, DCL just keeps scoring for fun. So he's definitely someone I need to consider and put in the squad. I can't keep losing points like this. It's not really worth it. Overall, this week went a little bit better than I expected. Sitting on 82 points, nearing the top 5K in the world. I did expect this week to be a little bit of a transition and not really get to the heights it did. Very thankful that, Rodgers had a big game, and Saka did come through on my triple captain with 2 assists that we'll take any day, even though they were both own goals. But ultimately, happy with where the squad is. So If you liked what you saw in this video, please like and subscribe below. And we will see you in the next video later this week as we look at the final team selection for Game Week 17. So thanks for watching this video. Bye for now.